Nowadays, international communities put pressures on Iran for bad treating of women or disregarding of their rights and these sort of things. For example, why you do not let them wear what they want or do fornication. In this recording, I'm going to tell you that the West introduces the index of the dignity and liberty for the woman in a wrong way, and exactly according to that wrong scale and unfair indexes persists that the condition of women in Iran is being ill-treated. So let's start from this point. What are the main rules of women that no one else can do them? They are motherhood, being a kind wife, nurturing and upbringing child. After Industrial Revolution, the governors in Europe changed the roles of women and for their benefits promoted that lifestyle throughout the world. They needed more work forces and more cheap labors for working in the factories. So they call women to work and change their roles. So the West imposed some tasks on women which were not and still not corresponded with their elegance and their dignity. How really the West consider the women? We of the West to our women is mainly imperialistic and capitalistic and materialistic and is according to their interests. What happens for the value of the family in the West? By promoting the lesbianism and gay community and generally same-sex marriage and homosexuality and I can say open marriage, they destroy the holy situation of family, and by this action they changed the position of the queen of the family, means the mother, to a miserable position. Why they contribute to promote the idea of feminism? Do you really think that it was because of women's situation or liberty? West says the body of women are more important than her civilization and humanity and dignity. The liberty given to the woman in the West is because of the government's interest and also owner of media and advertisement companies. Before the Industrial Revolution that started from Britain, the situation of women, their dignity and their style of wearing wasn't like our time. They changed the condition of women from house-centric to the job-centric position. Why should we have sex tourism in Thailand, South Korea and the Philippines? Is something else rather than misusing the women? Does the West really believe that has given freedom and dignity to the women by tattooing barcodes on their bodies for selling them? So the women in Europe and other parts of the world that have got the same view as those have in Europe must watch themselves one more time that at what cost they are selling their dignity. But at this point I'm going to compare the view of Islam toward women and other religions, because I'm going to show the women their real value and show them who regards them as a woman, not a good or material. In the view of secular and laicistic view of women, they believe that whatever a woman desires and likes, we must provide her, and nothing must stop her in reaching to their desires. Exactly with this idea we see a woman who chooses to be a porn star and doesn't care that many people watch her through the internet or something like that. If really they want to be like that and they want to be more they actually want to be like a napkin tissue, I don't have any challenge on them, but they shouldn't expect themselves to be treated like a queen. They will be watched and forgot. That's it. They choose to be a very low price creatures. On the other hand, Islam says to women that you are not allowed to sell yourself cheap. because the Almighty God created you and all the universe, and even you are not the owner of your own body, and you are not allowed to regard yourself less than the value that God liked it for you. So when a country like Islamic Republic of Iran tries to bestow dignity to the women and regard them as a woman, not a goods, should be under pressure, or vice versa, should be admired. All the women must behave like a queen and know their value. But let's have a look at the situation of women in Bible and its description. Islam is being accused to have some unfair laws about women. But again, because of the wrong index and scale, you regard them unfair. For example, they say in Islam men are a little more important than women. Women, or some discussion about heritage and blood money. Here, I don't want to present some sentences to describe the laws and to tell you the condition of them, but I'm going to read you some sentences from Old and New Testaments to tell you that even in other religions there is the same laws and recommendation, but unfortunately because of some political problems with Iran, they say something that is exactly explained in their own religion. For instance, in New Testament, the Epistle of Saint Paul, the Apostle to the Romans, chapter 1, sentences 26 and 27. Here we have, for this cause God delivered them up to shameful affections, for the women have changed the natural use into that use which is against nature, and in like manner the men also, leaving the natural use of the women, have burned in their lusts one towards another, men with men, working that which is filthy, and receiving in themselves the recompense which was due to their error. It shows that unnatural sex like homosexuality is denounced by Bible, but they put pressure on Iran that you are not treated well with homosexuals. In New Testament, the Epistle of Saint Paul to the Ephesians, chapter 5, sentences 22 and 23, said that, let women be subject to their husbands as to the Lord, because the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. He is the savior of his body. Again, in New Testament, the first Epistle of Saint Paul to Timothy, chapter 2, verses 9 to 15. In like manner, women also in decent apparel, adorning themselves with modesty and sobriety, not with plaited hair or gold or pearls or costly attire, but as it becometh women, professing godliness with good works. Let the woman learn in silence, with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to use authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not seduced, but the woman being seduced was in the transgression, yet she shall be saved through childbearing, if she continue in faith and love and sanctification with sobriety. So here we see that Bible talked about the manner of women in the society and their position in the comparison with men. Again, in New Testament, the first Epistle of Saint Paul to Timothy, chapter 3, sentences 2 to 11, written that the head of church must have a wife, and it described the characteristics of his wife. Here we have, It behooved therefore a bishop to be blameless, the husband of one wife, sober, prudent, of good behavior, chaste, given to hospitality, a teacher, the woman in like manner chaste, not slanderers, but sober, faithful in all things. But we can see that they avoid, the someone who is in charge of a church, they avoid to get married, and instead they become a pedophile. Again, in New Testament, the second epistle of Saint Paul to Timothy, chapter 3, sentence 6, it addresses women as silly. I don't know how many resolutions would be issued if this expression would founded in Quran. For here is the sentence: four of these sorts are they who creep into houses and lead captive silly women laden with sins, who are led away with diverse desires. Again, in New Testament, the epistle of Saint Paul to Titus, chapter 2, sentence 4, is stressing the family and the main roles of women in the family that the secular European politicians and owner of media destroy it due to their own benefits. The sentence is that they may teach the young women, no, this is actually plural, yeah, it must be plural, that they may teach the young women to be wise, to love their husbands, to love their children. Again, about the matter that I told you regarding the wrong index and introducing a very bad identity for women, Bible's words are proving my words. In New Testament, in the first epistle of Saint Peter the Apostle, chapter 3, sentences 3 to 6. Here we have the sentences: whose adoring, let it not be the outward plaiting of the hair, or the wearing of gold, or the putting on of apparel, but the hidden man of the heart in the incorruptibility of a quiet and a meek spirit, which is rich in the sight of God. For after this manner heretofore the holy women also, who trusted in God, adorned themselves, being in subjection to their own husbands, as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters you are, doing well and not fearing any disturbance. And also I have to say something about the action of fornication and its penalty. I should say that in all religion this action is denounced. For instance, in the Middle Ages, when church was the lawmaker, the penalty of fornication was to cut off the nose and ears. In Islam and Judaism, the penalty is stoning to death. But in Islam, the condition for proving the act of fornication is very difficult, and this difficulty is designed because the honor of a human is very important in Islam. The action of stoning sorry about that. The action of stoning is stipulated in the book of Deuteronomy, and Deuteronomy chapter 22, sentences 23 to 24. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto a husband, and a man find her in the city, and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you. Another point is that, for example, in Israel, women cannot be presented in the court as eyewitness. But I can't really understand how the Israeli Prime Minister can talk about the situation of women in Iran. This is very funny for me, at least. And finally, I would like to talk about a book written by a woman named Wendy Shalott under the title of Girls Gone Mild. Young rebels reclaim self-respect and find it's not bad to be good. It is, I think, published in 2007 or something like that. As I said, the book is written by a woman who is an American, and her work is against feminism and the programs that is designed to destroy the situation of women totally. This is a very nice book written by someone that actually lives in the middle of the battlefield, means America. So my final words to all ladies around the world is that you are created as queen by Almighty Allah, and you deserve the best of the best, and do not sell your dignity with a low price, and don't let the politician and advertisement companies misuse you. And again, I request you, I beg you, please think more about the situation of yourself, and try not to sell your dignity in a very low price. Thank you for listening.